Edition of J Area Wrestling Live. A little bit something different. We're usually down in HQ into the office that is J Area Wrestling, but being that the weather's kind of nice right now, I decided to take a little bit of a live stream on the road. Hopefully everyone's doing okay. Hopefully the weekend treated you well. Now the week ahead of us has a lot of great things in store. I mean, look, it's the week of WrestleMania. We're looking forward to it. Monday Night Raw tomorrow on Netflix. A lot of advancements in the stories that are involved in the lead up to WrestleMania. Obviously, we have NXT Stand and Deliver later in the week, SmackDown, the last SmackDown, leading into WrestleMania, and of course, the Hall of Fame that'll follow after WrestleMania weekend and Stand and Deliver. A lot to look forward to. I mean, hey, as we're bringing you another live stream here, something a little bit different. Like I said, we're doing a little bit earlier here. I couldn't wait to go live and have the discussion with you guys. It's an open discussion on this live stream. Ask me anything, whether it's related to WrestleMania, AEW, Collision was last night. Just got done finishing watching the recording as well. So whatever you guys want to talk about, please make sure to drop your comments and questions down below in the chat as well. And on top of that, hopefully you guys had saw the update on Thursday's live stream. We're going to be having a Kahoot live stream. We're going to have a quiz, WrestleMania, the ultimate quiz. Join us on Thursday's live stream for that. It's going to be a good time. It's going to be fun, something different. Hopefully people enjoy that, and maybe we can have more quizzes down the line for the channel, really. Again, this Thursday, it's going to be a live stream, a Kahoot session where we're going to play a WrestleMania quiz, giving you guys the opportunity to interact there. And if all goes well, hey, we'll keep doing the Kahoot quizzes and maybe some more interactive games on the channel. It's an opportunity for us to continue building the level of momentum, building the camaraderie that we already have here on the channel. Wouldn't be possible without any of you guys here. But I tell you what, we talk about WrestleMania. We talk about WrestleMania and the build, the big main event, John Cena versus Cody Rhodes. I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully you guys are looking forward to it as well. Cody Rhodes looks to be the man to prevent John Cena from winning number 17. If John Cena wins at WrestleMania, earns number 17, it's probably undeniable, that he's going to be the greatest of all time. One of the ultimate faces for the WWE, a standard bearer for the sport that is professional wrestling, and being able to cross over into the mainstream. To have a guy like John Cena in the main event against Cody Rhodes, it's surely going to attract viewers, both old, new, relapse fans, new fans, people who are fair weather fans. I mean, it's going to be a happening at WrestleMania 41. I'm hoping it's going to be a stellar matchup. I'm really looking forward to it. I see Tyler in the chat. Tyler, what's going on, my friend? Thank you very much for joining us on the live stream. And Tyler asks, I got a question for you. Why is Jey Uso pick Cody, not Gunter? Do you feel like Jey Uso, he's like Cody? If you're asking why I think Jey Uso picked Gunter and not Cody, first of all, thank you for the hearts in the chat, by the way. Appreciate that. Jey Uso, being that he chose Gunther, there was that level of animosity and unfinished business between Jey and Gunther. Gunther had beaten Jey Uso not once, not twice. Hell, he beat him 3 times. He's 0-3 against Gunther. So obviously, if I'm Jey Uso, I got unfinished business. I'm trying to make everyone, believe and see that, yes, I can beat the ring general. Yes, I can be a world champion. And if he were to choose Cody, definitely could have went that route just to be, a bit of a friendly competition. I always go back to WrestleMania 21, where Eddie Guerrero and Rey Mysterio had their feud as tag team champions. Jey Uso certainly could have been, the challenger for Cody, but I do think that it was the right call to have Jey go up against Gunther. Shout out to John here, who won between Jey and Gunther. Like I said, Gunther's beaten him 3 times, 0-3. But at WrestleMania, if you want my prediction, you got to see that video. I'm going to tell you right now, we got the prediction video already available for those who are members. You get early access to my WrestleMania predictions video. It's out now on the channel. and then it'll be publicly open to everybody tomorrow afternoon, Monday afternoon. Check out my WrestleMania predictions video. I tackle every single card, or rather, every single match that's on the card, all the way from the Women's World Championship, that triple threat match, all the way to Logan Paul versus AJ Styles. You want my take on who's going to win? Check out that video. There's your cheap plug there. TCJ says, I would LOL if Cody brings out the spinner belt out of retirement like they did with the Winged Eagle when he faced Owens. That would be a crazy visual to see Cody Rhodes have the WWE, the spinner WWE title, almost as a way to mock John Cena. Like, hey, this was once yours, but now it's mine. I'm the champion. I'm QB1. I'm the face of the WWE. It certainly would be, almost like a cursed image because the spinner championship is something that's really regarded in the John Cena, CM Punk era of the WWE. But hey, I like the idea of them having the lineage of the WWE championship being spread across in the ring, on SmackDown, and seeing the different versions of it, and seeing again the long history. I love when we're able to honor the past as a way to push forward a current narrative. So seeing him with that spinner title would certainly be a choice, but I think if John Cena does win, man, I think he'd have to bring that title back, right? As like a last kind of FU to the crowd. Like, hey, I know you guys didn't like this championship, and now here I am with the title. I think that's certainly a possibility if he wins the title, of course. John says that's next week. My bad. It's all good. Hey, next week, WrestleMania 41. We're looking forward to it. Should be a good show. A lot of people have been critical of the build and saying that the WrestleMania build hasn't been what it has in the last couple of years. Ultimately, it can have a slow build, and if the show delivers on its own, I mean, hey, I'm looking forward to it. Tyler says, I'm feeling like weird right now. I think Jey Uso turns heel, then joins The Rock. I'm going to have to disagree with you, Tyler. I think the story that they told with Jey Uso is him trying to break away from the bloodline and really prove himself as a single star. We just recently saw him team up with Jimmy for the first time in like a year and a half since their breakup. It's very dominantly involved that it's going to be Jey Uso going solo. I don't see him teaming up with The Rock, especially because that stuff is really intertwined with The Rock and Cody Rhodes and John Cena's storyline. We haven't seen The Rock since the Elimination Chamber event. I would be very shocked to see a Jey Uso heel turn, especially since we saw John Cena's heel turn already. Could it happen? I mean, hey, I wouldn't bet on it, but you never say never in pro wrestling. I'm thinking Jey Uso is just going to be a straight-up babyface. Maybe turns heel later down the road, but for right now, I don't see him turning at all, especially given the attack on his brother Jimmy. Thank you for the hearts in the chat. I see you guys. Thank you so much again for the support. But it should be a good show. We talk about Jey Uso. It's been a very hot topic in pro wrestling, very divisive in terms of the crowd. There's people out there who are very big supporters of Jey Uso and others who just don't get it, and that's fine. That's what I love about pro wrestling. Ultimately, it is a buffet. If you don't like one thing, there's something else out there for you. TCJ in the chat says, I think Bianca will finally turn heel or a tweener and help Naomi. Sets Jade feud. I like that. I really like that idea. I'm looking forward to that triple threat match. I mean, all the star power that's involved between Bianca, Rhea, and Io. I wouldn't be shocked. I wouldn't be surprised if Bianca does kind of turn to the dark side. We've seen how the crowd has been receptive toward her. A lot of people were kind of surprised that people were booing her. I think Io Sky is going to go into this as the clear-cut babyface. Rhea Ripley is a megastar, and Bianca Belair has been the de facto heel. Her maybe winning the championship and putting in motion of a partnership with Naomi and again continuing that storyline with Jade Cargill is something that I think would be very attractive. We haven't seen a heel Bianca Belair in a while, so it could be a little bit of a fresh start for her and again another narrative to look forward to leading into WrestleMania 42. Maybe that's your matchup, Jade versus Bianca, for the WWE Championship or the World Championship in this case. Maybe that's the buildup we have towards WrestleMania 42. Tyler says, why Travis Scott and Jey Uso connected? Well, that was before the heel turn. That was because, what was it, the Raw on Netflix debut, Jey Uso and Travis Scott come out together. It's a good fit. They have the same kind of vibe, and it was promoting WrestleMania. But since the Travis Scott, heel turn, if you want to say, We haven't seen any type of interaction on TV between the two, and because of that, I can't buy into that. Tyler says, because I see Jey Uso change attitude and everything already. I think about it now. But the only reason why he changed the attitude was because of that Gunther attack. Gunther had viciously attacked Jimmy Uso right in front of Jey Uso, who was bound by the zip tie to the ring ropes. He was forced to watch his older twin be decimated by Gunther. That was the reason why we saw the change in attitude of Jey Uso. Of course, he's locked in. He had those doubts. He had that insecurity of, hey, can I beat Gunther? Am I worthy enough to be the world champion? And Jimmy, being the big brother that he is, trying to inspire him, said, you know what, he's beatable, and I'm going to show you that he's beatable. Ultimately, that wasn't the case. Gunther, like I said, decimated Jimmy Uso, and now, family ties. It's bound by blood. Jey Uso's got to get his. Tess says, I understand that. Yeah, absolutely. And again, that's not to say he won't ever turn heel, because I definitely could see Jey turning heel down the road, not like within the next year. But you could make that point of like, hey, the crowd was against them. They were divisive. You were with them and then not with them, and there's a story to be told there. But I don't think it's there yet. Not quite yet. Kind of surprised the mid-card women's titles are not on the show, especially Chelsea Green. Chelsea Green is a gem, especially as the United States champion. Loving what I see between her and the Secret Service of Alba Fire and Piper Niven. Very entertaining. I think she's very underrated. They gave her that nod of the U.S. title, and we've seen her have this feud with Zelina Vega, and what an odd choice for their matchup on SmackDown, the count-out victory, which apparently was a little bit of a botch there, that Chelsea Green legitimately lost track of time and got counted out. It was supposed to go on a couple more minutes, and Zelina would have gone over anyway. But yeah, Lyra will not be defending her title. Chelsea Green, I'm thinking, is going to defend her title on the SmackDown before WrestleMania. But it does kind of suck, right, to not see those championships being highlighted, especially at WrestleMania. It adds more to the depth of the division, but you do want to see these kind of titles be elevated. They haven't been defended on a PLE yet, either the IC or the US title. So I'm with you, but it's still in the infancy of the championship reign. What was it, introduced in December for Saturday night's main event? So hopefully down the line we build up some steam, build up some momentum for those titles. But I'm with you. I love Chelsea Green. She's great. But I'm thinking, yeah, maybe she defends the title against Zelina this upcoming Friday. You might hear my dog here in the background. Tyler says, no Street Profits, shaking my head. Yeah, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm a little disappointed there. I respect the fact that we have the War Raiders and the New Day for the tag titles at WrestleMania, but I really feel like the tag team division on SmackDown has earned that spot. Teams like the Motor City Machine Guns, Legado del Fantasma. We had also, obviously, the Street Profits and DIY involved, Pretty Deadly. That division has been cooking, and so for them to not really take advantage of that and introduce it to WrestleMania, maybe in a 5-team matchup, a gauntlet matchup, a turmoil matchup, a ladder match, there are certainly other type of stipulations that they could have introduced for the tag team. Yeah, a little disappointed that we're not going to see them at WrestleMania. Love the New Day, love the War Raiders, but if you ask me, the SmackDown tag team division certainly would have been better suited for WrestleMania. And again, I believe it's the SmackDown before Mania that we're going to be seeing the tag titles defended, which makes sense. I mean, these last couple of years, the SmackDown and Raw episodes have been loaded, coming in and out of PLEs. But yeah, I agree with you, Tyler, 100%. Gianna Forever, Punk leaves Mania as champ. I just don't see it. I don't see it happening. I really don't. I know that's been a theory that we've had here on the stream for the last couple of weeks, but for me, narrative-wise, it just doesn't make sense. It's a very, hot take, and I love it. I welcome it. I love seeing the different opinions and the different perspectives when it comes to the card. But it's just, I find it very, it's a far stretch, to see Punk living as champion. I don't even know if he leaves the triple threat match as the winner, to tell you the truth. I'm a Punk guy. That's 100% one of my favorites of all time. As you can hear, the plane flying by, because they're probably disagreeing with me as well. But I don't know. Again, the WWE title, I feel like it needs to be between Cody and Cena. You can't overbook it. Don't make it too much of a show there. The story's there. My mind is crazy now. I can't wait to see this next weekend. It's going to be a great show, you know. And I know there's a lot of people out there who kind of they have pessimistic views and they say like, oh, the build is terrible, the card is whack, and we don't do that here. You know, if there's one thing I'm proud of is the fact that we built a community here where people can have differing opinions, but also a positive mindset, and we leave that toxicity out the door, right? I'm happy that everyone's looking forward to it here on the channel. It should be a great week of wrestling. There's something for everybody. There's going to be a street fight. There's going to be a triple threat match, a fatal four-way. There are so many things going on. I can't wait for NXT too. NXT is going to be great too. Stand and deliver. How big is that forehead? You tell me, buddy. Pretty big. I wear the hat because it gets cold. Yeah, NXT should be good. I can't wait for that either. Stephanie Vaquera in a fatal four-way, the triple threat match for the men, the NXT title. You like UFC? I can't say I'm a UFC fan. Do you know what I mean? It's not that I don't like it. I don't follow it as much. I'm very much casual when it comes to there. For me, the top sports, pro wrestling, boxing, basketball, football, and then, you know, baseball as well. My Giants are doing really good, so I'm more inclined to keep up with baseball now because the Giants are doing a little bit better. They're kind of doing Drew dirty, though. He needs a few months as a WWE champion. I honestly thought he was beating Punk in promos. Drew McIntyre is the unsung hero of 2024, one of the most valuable players in 2024. Shout out to Muhammad. I see you, buddy. And I desperately need him to win at WrestleMania. He loses to Damian Priest. It's going to hurt a lot of his credibility, I think. He had his feud with Seth Rollins. He had his feud with CM Punk and even Damian Priest this past summer. Took losses by, you know, Jey Uso, Sami Zayn. I think he desperately needs a win. Having been eliminated from Damian Priest, or having been eliminated by Damian Priest in the Royal Rumble and the Elimination Chamber matchup, leads me to believe that we're going in a certain direction. And I'm hoping they do follow through with a Drew McIntyre victory and maybe set him in place for a championship opportunity, whether it's against Cena or Cody, depending whoever walks out of WrestleMania with the title. I do think that he's going to be in a better place here coming out of WrestleMania. He's one of the hottest stars in the company, and whether he's a babyface or a heel, the crowd loves him. That's one thing you can't deny either. When the crowd is invested in someone, whether they're heel or babyface, I mean, dude, come on. You can't deny him. He's going to be a champion again, especially because that world title reign lasted a little bit over 5 minutes. Give him a good run, a significant run, whether it's a heel or babyface. Drew McIntyre is the guy. Really happy for him and his progress since coming back to the WWE back in 2017 as a member of the NXT roster. We wish him the best. And I mean, he looked pretty sick with that eye patch, I will add. I mean, he looks like he's healed up, but that street fight should be a spectacle. Hope you're doing well as well, Muhammad. Thank you for joining us here on the Sunday live stream a little bit earlier start time. I couldn't wait to join with you guys here on the live. And being the weather's kind of nice right now, I was like, you know what? Let's take the stream outside. You know, let's give it a different feel, something unique. We're leading into WrestleMania. Not every day you're gonna have a big WrestleMania, or not every week or month or year, whatever the case may be. So let's take this stream on the road. Tyler says Zilla Fatu, he's now yes, he is the reality of wrestling champion. Happy for Zilla Fatu and all his success. Hopefully it's a lengthy and successful title reign, because whenever he makes the jump to WWE, man, watch out. It's going to be great. Speaking of, a Fatu, Jacob's in contention for the United States title. He will be challenging LA Knight at WrestleMania. What are our thoughts there? Do you guys think Jacob walks out of WrestleMania with that championship? I mean, it's going to be very difficult to beat Jacob. I mean, this guy has been on a roll as of late. So I want to hear from you guys. TCJ says, again, I want to thank AEW for making WWE a better product. Absolutely. For all the imperfections with AEW and all the criticisms that people have, it's important to recognize, like, dude, it's so important to have competition, to have credible competition, and to see the progress that AEW has made in the last, 6 years now. It's a real testament to the status of pro wrestling. You cannot get better without competition. They say iron sharpens iron, and AEW really pushed the WWE to improve and sign some big names to the company's roster and improve the overall product. And I'm so happy that AEW is a thing, so happy that TNA has regained its footing, and the WWE is obviously the hottest it has been in quite some time. Pro wrestling is back, baby. I love it. It's going good, going well, Ken. Thank you so much for coming out here for the live stream. Salvi, what's going on? Says AEW is going to have more episodes than WCW. Yeah, that's right. Nitro this week with the latest episode of Dynamite. We're going to have a special episode of Dynamite, kind of a subtle nod to the fact that they are going to be passing WCW Nitro in terms of the length of episodes. And it's crazy to think that with the creation of Dynamite, we are now matching the timeline of Nitro. And it's like, wow, I feel like I just saw the first ever episode of a Dynamite like the other day. I can remember that first episode and seeing, you know, the ending where like Jake Hager had came out and the Inner Circle was first formed, seeing Sammy Guevara and Hangman Page and Pac and Cody, Kenny, all the originals in AEW take part in that first episode. It's crazy to think that it's been that quick. And it's amazing to think too, like, wow, so Nitro was that same timeline. Big congratulations to All Elite Wrestling. We wish them nothing but the best and continued success. That way they continue to push themselves and push the WWE into even greater successes. But yeah, it's going to be a special episode. A lot of great stuff to look forward to here this week. Obviously, it's WrestleMania week. Monday Night Raw. We got NXT, Dynamite, TNA's coming around, and then obviously SmackDown, the Hall of Fame, Stand and Deliver, and then, of course, the two-night extravaganza, WrestleMania. Not to mention the Raw after WrestleMania, usually a big show as well. So these next, 8 or 9 days, man, we're gonna be busy watching pro wrestling, isn't that right? Ty says, did you hear about The Rock wearing the New Japan Pro Wrestling t-shirt? Yes, I did see Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, wearing the lion, the t-shirt, the New Japan Pro Wrestling. Some people are taking that into consideration, saying, what if there's a potential partnership between the WWE and New Japan? That'd be crazy. I could not have predicted that, especially given the climate of WWE in the last decade. And because AEW is already kind of partnering with New Japan, but it's super cool to see that integration of different promotions and the recognition by someone like The Rock and saying like, hey, we do have eyes on other stuff, and recognizing the significance of the moment. Is it maybe opening the door, a forbidden door for WWE to maybe partner with New Japan? Maybe. Who knows, right? Anything is possible in the world of pro wrestling. What do you think of SmackDown and Collision this week? SmackDown I thought was pretty solid. The main event for me was very derivative, being that it was LA Knight and Randy Orton versus the Bloodline, or sorry, not the Bloodline anymore, but Solo and Tama Tonga. Very derivative, nothing special there. I was a big fan of the Cody segment. I thought that was awesome. The tag team division on SmackDown is very solid. Zelina versus Chelsea Green. Love both women. I thought that matchup was very interesting because apparently it was botched, right? There was reports saying that the match should have went a little longer, but Chelsea Green legitimately lost track of time and was counted out. So SmackDown, I thought was solid. I do think that the 3-hour mark is very excessive. I feel like 2 hours is the safe space for a wrestling show. As for Collision, I actually just got done watching the recording of Collision. I wasn't able to see it, live while it happened. But again, a great showing there. Love the matchup between Jamie Hayter and Billy Starks. I also like the work of Athena. Had a great match there against Harley Cameron. FTR with a solid promo and a beatdown of Matt Menard and Angelo Parker. I thought it was good. Collision is picking up steam. I like what I'm seeing there as well. Ken asks, is AEW and WWE both run by the same family? Because I know Khans have hands on both. No, it's actually a crazy coincidence. The AEW is owned by Tony Khan, and then the WWE is ran by Nick Khan. Crazy coincidence, but no, not the same family. TCJ, has a heel ever won a WWE title after WrestleMania? After WrestleMania, I mean, if we're talking like the main event, Triple H at WrestleMania 2000 had successfully retained the title. In terms of like closing out the show and winning the WWE title, you could argue WrestleMania 17, Stone Cold had turned heel when he won the championship. You could also argue, let's see, WrestleMania 22. I got to go through like a list of WrestleManias here. WrestleMania 24, Randy Orton was a heel. He retained the title. WrestleMania 27, The Miz successfully retained. I'm not seeing a lot of wins now that you mention it. Not a lot of wins. Seth Rollins won the championship at WrestleMania 31. He was technically a heel, you know. 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37. Yeah, no, I mean, the last one might have been someone like The Miz. Let's see. Also, go Cubs. They shut out the Dodgers. I did see that. Big thanks to the Cubs because I'm a Giants fan, so I love to see the Dodgers take that L. Currently, as it stands, we are second in the division. Dodgers are third. We're right on the heels of the Padres. Big shout out to the Cubs there for beating the Dodgers. What does the future hold for both Cope and Jericho? Well, for Adam Copeland, Cope, better known as Edge, I'm curious to see how they're going to go through with the FTR feud. He's going to need a partner, right? He needs a partner to face off against FTR. As for Jericho, I saw that he's going to be taking some time away from AEW and focusing on Fozzy, going on tour. I think it's a great call for Jericho to go and take a break, have the crowd, give them a moment to miss him, you know, because if you're always there, the crowd's going to grow tired of you. You're going to get stale. Super happy that Jericho's going to take a break. Good for him. And he'll come back. He's going to come back with AEW. The door's always open for WWE, but that's down the line. He'll be back. He'll be back for sure. Have you seen the pic of Nick Khan doing security work at WrestleMania back in the day? I did. That was a crazy... So that was on the documentary. Peacock had released a documentary, WrestleMania 9, and the behind the scenes of that show. And Nick Khan, who was like in a bright green shirt for Caesar's Palace, was the security guard, was one of the security guards for that show. And it's amazing to think that nearly 30 years later, he would be running the show, running the company. Great story there by Nick Khan, and seeing him progress from a fan to a security guard to now one of the leading members of the WWE's corporate staff. I mean, it's basically the guy. Man, it's a crazy, crazy little story there. Go Dodgers. Don't like the Dodgers, but I mean, hey, you're a Dodger fan, just know I got beef. Giants all day. I heard Kevin Owens will be out for a long time. Is this spells the end of his career? You know, unfortunately, it might. I saw reports that he could potentially miss WrestleMania 42. That is a extended amount of time to be missing for Kevin Owens. But a neck injury, very serious, nothing to mess around with. It could be something similar to like Randy Orton, who had taken a lot of time, you know, a year and a half, really, for Randy. And for Kevin Owens, we wish him a speedy recovery. We wish him a full recovery. If this is the end of his career, number one, it's a very sad thing. You know, Kevin Owens is still very young, still very capable of carrying out some of the best work of his career. But then it's also how poetic that his last match could potentially be against Sami Zayn in Canada in a great unsanctioned matchup. Man, we wish him the best. But hopefully it's not the end. Just give him an opportunity to heal up and come back stronger. But, you know, we saw it with Big E, who unfortunately has to retire, or has retired. And then there's Randy Orton, who took an extended time away. Man. Can't ask, who do you think Randy faces? I see Solo ain't got a match. I do think it's Solo, actually. We've talked about this on the previous stream. Some people threw out the possibility of Rusev or Aleister Black. I personally think it'd be Solo Sikoa, and I think it would be a safe choice to have Solo. It doesn't have a match. Had a good year for Solo, so it's interesting that we don't have anything going for him. I do see him being the opponent for Randy, especially given the way the show ended this past SmackDown, where it was the Solo and Tama versus Randy and LA Knight. I think it's Solo, 100%. That would be my choice. Miro Solo versus Randy. I think it's Solo. For me, it would be very difficult to put Miro slash Rusev or Alec or Aleister Black in that position, because it's like you're gonna have them lose. I don't see Randy losing at Mania. I really don't. So to put them in that position, it'd be tough to give Miro or Aleister Black a loss on their first appearance. Same thing with like Nick Aldis. If Nick Aldis were to go in the ring with Randy Orton, that'd be a tough ask, because if he loses, I feel like he loses credibility as the GM. And if he beats Randy, it's like, damn, Randy, you can't even beat the GM who hasn't wrestled in years. It's a lose-lose in my opinion. Ken says, what are your thoughts on him telling Nick to get back into the ring? I think it's a great story, and I'm very intrigued with it, but it's a tough situation there. Someone loses credibility, I fear. But Nick Aldis is still in great shape. I'm pretty sure it could still go. The matchup that I would really want to see is actually Nick Aldis versus Adam Pearce in a SmackDown versus Raw matchup between the general managers. That's a matchup I would be very much intrigued to see. But if Nick Aldis were to face Randy, I don't see it going too long. Randy wins, but again, it'd have to be one of those deals where it's like he can only get in the ring if he relinquishes his title of the general manager of SmackDown. That's the only way it makes sense for me. But maybe it was just a good way to kind of deviate and kind of provide a little bit of a smoke and mirrors and have people think it's Nick Aldis when in reality it's someone else. You know, kind of throw out a little hint and test the waters of Nick Aldis potentially getting back in the ring. Do you think the Wyatt Six are showing up at Mania? I don't. There's nothing in place for them right now. And if they were to appear, in what capacity? In what capacity would they be at WrestleMania? It's a tough call. Obviously, Alexa Bliss was someone that I thought was going to be involved at WrestleMania. I thought maybe there was a chance that her and Nikki Cross would team up against Raquel and Liv, but that's not the case. I don't. Unfortunately, I think the Wyatt Six is going to be someone that we see after WrestleMania, like the SmackDown after. Kent says, I heard someone saying it could be a mixed tag, Nick Aldis and his wife versus Randy and his. Yeah, I don't see that happening either. You know, Mickie James for sure it could happen, but Randy's wife isn't even a professional wrestler. You know, Kim, you know, maybe she's athletic, but I don't see that happening either. It would have to be Randy and maybe another female wrestler, but even then, who would it be, right? I wouldn't think a mixed tag match at all. Jericho versus Elias versus Hendry versus Jarrett. If we're going in terms of like the greatest, I'm probably going to go Jericho. If we're talking about a matchup right now, Joe Hendry, TNA World Champion. But out of all those four, I'm entitled to say Jericho. Because even his latest stuff has been hit or miss, but I'd go Jericho. Look, why WWE fumble Wyatt Six, RIP Bray Wyatt. It's been tough, you know, with the Wyatt Six. They had a real hot debut when they showed up for the first time, and it's kind of been a cool down here. They obviously took that loss to the Final Testament. I do think in this coming months, they got to get something going for them. They desperately need something going. The Battle of Music. I probably would still go Jericho, truthfully. I prefer Fozzie's music. No storyline and storytelling. Yeah, no, it's sad, you know, and that's the thing about pro wrestling, and especially this channel. We're going to call it like we see it. And in the past, some people have said that maybe we like WWE more on this channel. It's just because it's more, you know, prominent. It's more mainstream. But we are going to call it out when something's not good. And the Wyatt Six stuff, man, has been a letdown, truthfully. There's not a lot of faction warfare. Their only really warfare against another faction was the Final Testament. And aside from that, we haven't seen anything. Do you think the restaurant incident doomed the Wyatt Six? This is in reference to, I believe it was their debut, where after the show they had went to the restaurant and had like photos taken, and I don't think so. I really don't. In this day and age of the internet, it's very difficult to avoid fan interaction, and pictures are a part of the business. Fans are going to recognize them and want to take pictures. I don't think it doomed them necessarily. I think it's just a difficult character to build around, especially someone that is in the supernatural realm of the Wyatt Six, and to get them protected, because you don't want to have these guys seem as inferior to others, but then you can't have them win a title because it's like, well, then you got to lose that title. So I don't think it necessarily doomed them. I just think it's getting lost in the shuffle. There's a lot of talent in the WWE right now, and it's difficult for them, I guess, to figure out different stories for everybody. Whatever happened to Christian Cage and AEW? Yeah, following that failed cash-in, the casino cash-in, we haven't seen Christian Cage. He's had a falling out with Nick Wayne. And I'm seeing more of Nick Wayne trying to step out as his own man, as a single star. I think Christian Cage eventually returns. Part of me thinks that he's going to team up with Cope against FTR. I think that's something that could be a possibility. But then I look at it and it's like, well, he's kind of already tangled up with Nick Wayne and the patriarchy. I don't know. I don't know when we're going to see him again. But I wouldn't be surprised if down the road we do see him team up with Cope again. Chad Gable went from being in a tag team to Shorty G to being almost getting killed by the Wyatt Six to now being El Grande Americano, allegedly. To me, he's the modern-day Kurt Angle who can do it all, 100%. 100%. I think Chad Gable is one of the more underutilized and underrated talent in the WWE, just in pro wrestling in general. You put him in a ring with anybody, and he could go. And what I love about Chad Gable is his willingness to really kind of devote himself to the role, and whether it's a comedic role, whether it's a serious role, babyface or heel, he really dives into it, and I'm a big fan of his. And I do think the comparisons are there for Kurt Angle, one because of the athletic background and the Olympic background, the singlet, the move set, the receding hairline, all of that. But it's because it's true. It's such a good comparison for Chad Gable. And I think he's just one of the best to do it right now in the WWE. Who do I have winning the Ray versus El Grande Americano? As of right now, and again, you can get a more in-depth answer for the prediction video. It's available now for those who are members. Who are members of the channel, the Main Event Mafia. You get early access to the prediction video. Check that out. For the widespread audience, you do get to see that on Monday afternoon. But for the Ray match, I got Ray winning. I find it very hard to believe that he loses that matchup. I think it's going to be a payoff where we're going to see El Grande Americano take the L, maybe get unmasked. That's just my prediction now. But if you want a more in-depth analysis and prediction for that matchup, as well as the other matches on the card, check out the video where I have my official WrestleMania predictions. It's already available for those who are members of the Main Event Mafia. It'll be available for everybody tomorrow afternoon on Monday. Please check that out and comment down below some of your predictions for WrestleMania, as well as what are some things that you want to see on the card as well. Is there maybe another match you'd like to have added, or any predictions you guys have? Kent says I'll check it out. Yeah, no, please do. Please do. Again, I cover every single matchup that's already announced. I think there's a possibility we get a couple more squeezed in there. Probably Randy Orton's matchup, maybe one more matchup as well. Maybe 2 matches tops will get added to the card. Jack Perry. Yeah, ever since Jack Perry lost the TNT title, we haven't seen him either. I mean, him along with the Young Bucks had went MIA. Obviously, the Young Bucks are back, and people thought they aligned themselves with Jon Moxley and the Death Riders, but it was really a means to prevent Swerve from winning the championship. I don't know. Jack Perry is certainly a polarizing figure in pro wrestling, and sometimes I think that's good because he gets people talking about your product. Don't know what would be the next move for him. I don't know where they go with him. AEW is an interesting place because just when you think you have an idea of where they're going to go with a character's direction, sometimes they pivot. And sometimes it's without any logic, but I'll continue to watch. If you're just joining us here on the live stream, my name is Jose Ramos Jr. I'm a fan of pro wrestling. It's a pro wrestling YouTube channel for pro wrestling fans. We're discussing all things WWE, AEW, maybe TNA, past, present. Keep the questions and comments coming in, guys. Love the conversation. Ken says, do you ever see the Shield coming back to new Shield forming? I think eventually John Moxley will return. It's just you never say never in pro wrestling. A new Shield forming, I don't. I don't think we're gonna new Shield. Maybe a group resembling them, but certainly not like a new version of them. But I do think John Moxley eventually returns. Maybe not soon, but down the road. The Death Riders is getting stale, and the Wyatt Six. Death Riders is unfortunately getting stale. I like John Moxley. I like all the guys. Claudio, Pac. Wheeler Yutas, hit or miss with me. He has a couple of moments there. But I do agree it's getting a little stale. We need some development here. I wanted Swerve to win the title, and I thought someone like Darby was going to be the one to defeat John Moxley, but that's not the case. I think it's going to be Will Ospreay. I think Will Ospreay is going to be the one to defeat the Death Riders and help the All Elite Wrestling finally get a world champion back on TV. TCJ says, I love Jack Perry. He got Punk back in the WWE Butterfly Effect. Yeah, 100%. The real glass incident between Punk and Jack Perry really set in that domino effect that has brought Punk back to the WWE and in the main event of WrestleMania Night 1. So, if there's anything that Jack Perry has done great, it's that. I could see the new Shield being formed from the Triple Threat. So who would be the third? That'd be the question, because are we saying, like, who would be the three? Are we saying a potential reunion between Seth and Roman and a third? Seth and Roman still have a lot of beef. They still have a lot of issues, underlying issues between the two. We need to see that one-on-one matchup between them. I do love the fact that we have so many layers in this story, because CM Punk, way back when, was a very crucial part of the creation of the Shield. CM Punk is the third. They're in a heated rivalry here, though. I mean, the triple threat match, it's not like they're going to sit after the matchup and sing Kumbaya and become a three-man team. I do not see them getting close in terms of forming a group. And like I said, I don't think a new Shield forms. I think the Shield, as it is, as it was, and as it will be, is done. I don't think we're going to see it again. Again, unless if John Moxley makes a return and we get maybe a one-off, or maybe Seth and Roman somehow figure out their differences and have a tag team matchup, but I don't think so. Right now, but down the road, ain't now. Yeah, I mean, you could, but I still, again, I don't think CM Punk joins a group. A guy like CM Punk is always going to be the focal point and not be an equal. I don't see it happening. Punk is going to feud with Roman this summer. Very confident in that. And then him and Rollins to team up, given the bad blood that they have, is, yeah, that's going to have to take some time, some healing. Whatever happened to Colt Cabana? That's a good question. Colt Cabana and his time in AEW was like a blink and you miss it. I don't know. I don't know where's Colt Cabana. That's a great question. Hopefully he's doing well, but is he behind? Maybe he's behind the scenes of AEW and Ring of Honor. That is something that I would definitely believe, but yeah, I don't know what happened to Colt. Thank you for the hearts in the chat. Appreciate that. Thank you so much. What's going on, Johnny? Appreciate you stopping by in the stream. We're talking WrestleMania. We're talking WWE, AEW, whatever the case may be here on a Sunday live stream. A little bit something different. We decided to take the live stream on the road here, and we're just enjoying the weather right now. It's a little bit cloudy, kind of nice here for Arizona weather. Not too hot, not too cold. You get to hear the natural sounds of life, the helicopters, the cars, the birds chirping, and provides a little bit of a backdrop here for wrestling, for J Area Wrestling Live. Love that you guys are here with us and choosing to spend your time with us here on a Sunday evening. Also, for those of us that are in the chat right now, make sure you tune in for Thursday's live stream. We are also going to be going live on Thursday, and we're going to be doing a special WrestleMania quiz. There is a post in the community tab where it informs everybody, hey, on Thursday we're doing a Kahoot, we're doing a quiz. You got to download the Kahoot app. We're going to have the quiz available on screen. It'll give you the code to sign in, join the quiz. Let's have some fun. Let's play some games together. And if it goes well, we'll bring back the Kahoot idea, have other wrestling quizzes as well. Hopefully it goes well. Hope to see you all there this upcoming Thursday. Ken says, reason why I see it is because Rock and Triple H both said they want more long-term booking. 100%. 100%. But I mean, again, I don't see them having Punk. If they do team up, I'm going to play devil's advocate here. If they do team up, what is the context? Who are they facing? And I don't think they would use the Shield name. I really don't. I think it would just be three of the biggest stars teaming up. The Shield is Dean Ambrose, aka John Moxley, Seth, and Roman. You can't just plug in CM Punk. I know they did it with Kurt Angle. I don't count that. That Kurt Angle team up, yeah, that wasn't the Shield. That was the Shield and Kurt Angle. But yeah, Johnny says, I have Seth Rollins winning at WrestleMania. Johnny, I don't think you're far off. Muhammad, Tony Khan should have never ghosted Shane McMahon. It's something I don't think we're ever going to get a real answer to as to what the conversation was between Shane and Tony Khan. I hope that maybe down the road we get more of an in-depth look into the inner workings of AEW, certainly during its inception and potentially maybe what happened with Cody Rhodes and CM Punk and their departures. Whatever comes out of it, though, whether it's a book, a documentary of some sort, I would love to see the thought process of Tony Khan and his dealings with people like Shane McMahon. Because for someone like Shane McMahon to have that conversation, Shane, obviously a part of one of wrestling's biggest families, you know, I mean, the McMahon family, they ran the WWE for decades. And to have the amount of experience and knowledge and the advice that he could have passed on to Tony Khan, and for Tony Khan to ghost him, allegedly. I mean, hey, you and I, you know, we're just fans here watching and reading reports. We don't really have all the stories, but still, the asset that Shane could have been to Tony Khan, maybe could have turned the tide, and maybe they'd be in a different place than they are right now in the world of pro wrestling. But again, a good point there by Muhammad. I heard the reason for ghosting is Shane wanted percentage of the company. I don't doubt it. I mean, hey, if Shane McMahon is going to be a part of a wrestling company, you would think he wants to be compensated. He wants some kind of ownership of the company. And if a guy like Tony Khan isn't willing to acquiesce and give him a percentage, that's in his right as well as the owner and the boss of AEW. But I do think it's important to have a collaborative effort, especially in pro wrestling. You can't have the same people running the show and not have sort of input from others that have been there and have done that. I think it's very important and very valuable to have guys and girls who have been there, who have been successful, and are aware of what it takes to lead a professional wrestling promotion. And if Tony Khan doesn't want to take that type of criticism or advice from these legends and from these, just for the lack of a better word, wise men and women, that's his prerogative. But that's why he gets the criticism that he does, you know, because he's very stubborn. Again, subjectively, I don't know the guy personally. I think he needs to be more open-minded and allow more people to have a say. People who actually, like I said, have had an impact in the business. I'm not talking about creative control, like giving Mercedes or John Moxley a say in the direction of their character. I'm saying have guys in position like a Shane McMahon. I know Bruce Pritchard's with the WWE, but he's an example of someone that's in a position of power where he has influence because he's been there. He's had experience. He knows what it takes to run a promotion. He needs these people around him to help him delegate responsibilities, storylines, and whatnot when it comes to the inner workings of AEW. Do you see Vince owning a different company after legal trouble? Vince strikes me as the type is never going into retirement. So long as he's physically, mentally able, he's going to find a reason to stay busy. Whether it's a pro wrestling promotion or not, Maybe it's something in the entertainment business, maybe like a production team, like how The Rock has 7 Bucks production, who helps promote and create content, whether it's movies, shows, as an entertainment mogul. I could definitely see him going into another business venture. Yes. Is it pro wrestling? I don't think so. I don't think so. But I would not doubt him for creating some sort of entertainment business or a production team, like I said. Vince is that kind of guy. Really solid questions there by Kent. Thank you so much. A lot of great talking pieces here. I mean, Seth Rollins and the Shield storyline that was going on there. Kent asking about Vince owning a company. Muhammad asking about Tony Khan. I love it. Love the diverse conversation and being able to integrate different talking points on a Sunday live stream. Hopefully you guys are doing well. Hopefully the weekend's treating you right and that you have an amazing week ahead of you. I know we've been kind of MIA when it comes to the video uploads. We upload videos on Monday. That's the one day of the week that I can assure you we will have content as the birds are singing because they want more content. But the live streams are doing well. Sundays and Thursdays we have our lives. Kent asks, will there ever be another bro love character? Oh, like a brother love character? Oh man. I don't think so. I don't think there'll ever be another brother love character because the brother love character was obviously a parody of like the TV evangelist. And I think because in the world that we live in and how people try to be, PC friendly, politically correct, they don't want to offend anybody or dive into religion for that matter. Plus, I just feel like it's the one character. It's like saying with The Undertaker, will there ever be another Undertaker character? No, because it's The Undertaker. And brother love is brother love. I think they should leave it. They should leave it. One, again, because I don't think they're going to try to dive into religion and maybe offend somebody. Because, nowadays it's difficult to not do that. But also because it's like, just because it was successful in the past, it doesn't mean it's going to be successful now. But I'm a big fan of Bruce Pritchard. We had just seen the WrestleMania 17 Gimmick Battle Royal. We watched it earlier today. It was on YouTube. We threw it on there. And Brother Love was there. And I like when pro wrestling kind of pushes the boundaries and tests the waters of reality. And the Brother Love character kind of rubbed people the wrong way. And that's why I found it entertaining. Doesn't mean we should bring it back, though. Only if it's Bruce Pritchard. Maybe it's for a one-off and we have some kind of a reunion show or a Raw old school type of an episode. And you can bring him out and, parade him around as a cameo. But in terms of a fresh take on the character, I don't think so. I think a lot of the successful characters nowadays are based in reality. Guys like CM Punk, Drew McIntyre, Seth, Roman, Cody, even Jey Uso. It's like they're not playing a character. It's like them playing an elevated version of themselves. A classic tale of the most successful pro wrestlers are those that portray themselves and they just crank up the volume a little bit and making it a little bit more exaggerated and entertaining. So I don't think it's necessary. Would it be interesting to see? Yeah, in 2025, absolutely. Absolutely. Roman Reigns will be on Monday Night Raw. What's going to happen? Some type of physicality. I'm thinking, Johnny, it's going to be the final Monday Night Raw before WrestleMania. Roman, Punk, Rollins, and I'm guessing Paul Heyman all back in the same ring together. Something's got to give. Someone's going to get physical. We've had Seth Rollins stand tall. We've had CM Punk stand tall. I think this episode, Roman stands tall alone without Paul Heyman. We're going to get a little bit of a rebuttal from Roman Reigns and see how he fares without Paul Heyman. Should be fun. Probably going to be the closing segment, I would think. Is there any indie wrestler getting into WWE or AEW? Any indie wrestler? I mean, it's interesting because they don't really go with indie wrestlers that much anymore. Some guys are just already established, like a Penta and Phoenix, who were out in AEW, or they go for the NIL program and have former collegiate athletes, like a Bianca Belair was a part of that squad. If we're talking indie, I think you got to go Zilla fought too. I think eventually will be there. But in terms of indie wrestlers, it's tough to call right now. What do I like about Seth Rollins' promo? I'm thinking you meant promo there. What I like about Seth Rollins is when he's locked in and he's serious. That's his best work. Not when he's laughing and dancing around. His best work is when he is serious and he's locked in. And to see him and the way he interacted with Paul Heyman and becoming a little bit more menacing and intimidating to Paul Heyman, I thought was a welcomed sight. I don't want to see any more, laughing and joking around. This is a blood feud between three of the biggest stars in the WWE. What's happening with Randy? Who's he fighting? Nacho, I think it's down to two, Nick Aldis and Solo Sikoa. Those are the two guys I think he faces. I'm thinking it's going to be Solo Sikoa. I think that's the feud, the matchup, really, that's going to be in line. Sylvia, surprise live, no heads up, you can't do this to me. I'm sorry, Sylvia, I couldn't help it. There's a lot to talk about here on the live stream. The weather was nice, so I thought, hey, why not? Let's take the stream outside and give you guys something else to listen to and to hear and to see on a live. Had to go for it. I'm sorry about that. I tried to have it out a little early and give you guys the heads up, like at least like a 40 minutes to 1 hour heads up. But hey, you're here now. Appreciate you. Hopefully the weekend's treating you right. What's going on in the chat? I see you. Kent, what's Seth's favor? I don't know, dude. Like, Kent, man, it took us a second there to figure out what CM Punk's favor was, right? And now Seth has a favor. Is it a legitimate favor? I don't know. Is it him going over at WrestleMania? Too many favors to keep up with, honestly. It's very difficult to keep up with. A lot of moving parts when it comes to this feud that is Punk versus Roman versus Rollins, and then Paul Heyman tied up in the web as well. But if I had to guess, I don't know, maybe it's having him help the matchup. I don't know. People are saying that maybe Seth has Paul Heyman team up with him. I don't know. I want to see who Heyman chooses, Roman, Punk, or Seth. That's the intrigue of the matchup, really. He's going to go into the matchup with Punk, but the question is, who is he leaving with? Is he still going to be loyal to Roman? Is he going to be loyal to Punk? Is the favor involving Seth, him aligning with Heyman? Tough to call. If you ask me, though, I don't think it's Roman. It could be Punk. It could be Seth. But I want to see how Raw plays out. I want to see how that carries out, and if there's any indication on what might happen on the fallout of WrestleMania. Don't know. That's why we watch it, right? Keep the questions and comments coming, guys. These are great points that everyone's making. Love the participation. Love the involvement. You guys make these lives exactly what they are. Tiffy did cook, but she might lose. If she loses, I'm going to be upset. I think Tiffany Stratton should certainly go over. I definitely think that it would be the wrong call to have Charlotte go over. Be the wrong call. If you want Charlotte to be the champion, totally fine. Absolutely. No problem. But not at WrestleMania. I think Tiffany has to go over at WrestleMania. It would devalue her run at the WWE's top, being that, she cashed in Money in the Bank. There was a lot of hype around her debut last year, and if Charlotte just comes over and steamrolls her, what does that do to Tiffany? She has to win. He could be loyal to all three. Hence why I asked the question earlier. Can he be loyal to all three, though? He could. In your theory, Kent, he could. But they won't allow it. They won't allow it. They're going to want him to choose. You know, it's like you're gonna have to choose. You know, it's like the girlfriend situation here. Paul Heyman loves Roman, loves CM Punk. But it's like if I'm in their position, no, you gotta choose. I'm not sharing. Absolutely not. This isn't an open relationship. It's open and shut. He has to choose one. You can't have multiple significant others. You know? I'm inclined to think though that the Roman partnership might be coming to an end though. They've been together for nearly 5 years at this point. I think we might be coming to an end. How you guys doing? You know, how's the weekend treating you? What were your guys' plans this weekend? Anything exciting happen? What are your plans for next week? What's the menu looking like for WrestleMania weekend? I know for us, it's still up in the air. We talked about burgers and pizza. Maybe might be a contender here. There's 2 nights of WrestleMania, so what are your guys' plans for WrestleMania? You guys having a watch party? You guys having something awesome to eat? I'm sure. What are you guys looking at in terms of WrestleMania weekend? Jay versus Gunther might be better. You know, the Jay versus Gunther stuff has been very, um, again, divisive is the word. But I think they do have a shot here to really surprise people with a good showing in their matchup. They've introduced a level of intensity, a level of emotional involvement here with the Jimmy Uso attack. So I think it might be a pleasant surprise, and it would be a step up from last year. Jimmy versus Jay, kind of a letdown. Jay versus Gunther might do the trick. And what could be like a Rocky Balboa meets Ivan Drago type of a matchup. I'm hoping it's something like that. And then obviously Jimmy Uso is playing the role of Apollo Creed. And I love Rocky, so I love that comparison. You can if it's written the right way, because no one would see it coming. 100%. If anything is written in a strong and logical sense, you can get away with it. I just don't see it happening. I don't see it happening. So in theory, you're thinking, Kent, that Paul Heyman is the glue that could potentially have Roman, Punk, and Seth align together and form this trio of sort. If I have that correctly, it sounds like you have Paul Heyman as that glue guy between these three. I just don't see it happening. I mean, Roman and Punk have their issues. They haven't even had a match one-on-one yet. That's my biggest thing. If they were to have a match, that's the thing. If they had the match already, or even then, let's say Punk and Roman team up. They can't have Seth involved. They can't have all three. I'll give you Punk and Roman. Maybe there's a team there. But it won't last long term. Punk and Roman needs to happen. That's a marquee matchup in any arena. And then Seth and Roman, they're not going to team up again. They still have their beef. Io needs to win this. You know, I'm a big fan of Io. I think Io for sure. I want her to win. I want her to successfully defend that title. But I don't know. With someone like Bianca and Rhea involved, difficult. Make sure you stay tuned for tomorrow's upload, where I have my WrestleMania predictions, and you'll see who I have winning that triple threat matchup. But it should be a barn burner. Should be a great matchup. 3 of the top women's stars in all of pro wrestling in one match. Come on. Should be a great matchup. And hopefully whoever wins, they just have a hell of a run. I will give you a hint. I don't think Rhea wins. It's down to Bianca and Io. Those are your 2 choices. Ken says slow play can have things play out like they did with Naomi. Yeah, but again, I just don't see it happening with Seth, Roman, and Punk. If Punk and Roman team up, I can acquiesce to that. You know, I can give into that one because of the Paul Heyman effect. But if Paul Heyman aligns himself with Seth the way people have suggested, that is now a betrayal to Roman, who has his issues with Seth. That is now a betrayal to CM Punk, who has had his issues with Seth. So he can't team up with Seth and still be aligned with the other two. That's a betrayal. If my best friend at the end of WrestleMania helps my enemy win the matchup, I immediately call into question the loyalty and the validity of my relationship with that best friend. That's why I say, you know, Roman and Punk, okay, all right, I'll hear you out. I'll hear you out. But it won't be all three of them. It can't be all three of them. Seth is not teaming up, especially the way Seth Rollins talks about Punk. They are not teaming up. They would have to have a huge opposition for them to team up. Like, we're talking like The Rock and Roman Reigns teaming up. But I just don't see it. I'll give you Roman and Punk. Can't see Seth teaming up with them. And yeah, I hear you when you say slow play, but I don't see it happening. I really don't. And even if it does, let's say for the sake of the argument, the three of them team up, they're not winning the matchup because I feel like the egos are going to collide and they're going to lose. But I do like the point of Naomi. The long play with Naomi. I do think eventually we're going to see. It can start with help with Punk, go to Seth, then turn to Roman, and end with Punk. They can start with help with Punk, go to Seth, then turn to Roman, and end with Punk. You have to help me out there, Kent. Appreciate the hundreds in the chat. I also try to look at it in the sense of logic. Why are we building up Seth versus Roman? Why are we building up Seth versus Punk for an extended period of time? Just to have them team up. It doesn't make logical sense to me. That's like saying Drew and Punk. Would Drew and Punk have teamed up? No, absolutely not. I look at the Drew and Punk feud as a precursor to what we got with Seth and Punk. They're not teaming up. They're not. Even if they're, and technically all three guys are baby faces. I like how Gaz was the only one that caught that. What was that in the background? I got scared. Gabs was the only one that caught that. That's why I stopped for a second. I'm like, is anyone going to acknowledge that in the background? Shout out to Gabs as well in the chat. It takes a lot for me to get a little jumpy there. But I was hoping someone would notice. Gabs did. Shout out to Gabs. Punk's best friend, Roman. Oh, Punk befriends Roman, tribal chief. Seth is the middleman. But it's like Seth is not going to be friends with them. Seth is not going to befriend Punk. They might have a mutual respect, but he's not going to befriend him. And as for Roman and Seth, maybe they become friends down. Maybe they was. Maybe they can. But it's not, hey, you can have your opinion. I'm going to have mine, and it's just, I don't see it happening. But again, I'm the kind of guy where I am more than okay, absolutely more than okay with being proved wrong. Absolutely. But in this instant, I don't see it happening. I said behind you. Was that San Fran? I believe so. If you guys had the opportunity to check out San Fran's live stream this past week, he had the Sting look, had the Sting mask and all the getup. Odds are that was San Fran making an appearance there, always making an appearance. What's going on, Sammy? Appreciate you, buddy. Thank you so much for being here in the live stream. Ken says that they already got back together once after Seth and the chair. Absolutely. Absolutely. But I don't see Punk joining with Seth. I'll give you the argument of Seth teaming up with Roman because they're always going to be bonded through the Shield. I could give you Punk and Roman because they're going to be bonded through Heyman. I don't see all three of them. But on top of that, they had teamed up, after the chair. But then the bloodline hadn't happened. The bloodline happened. Roman was on top for 4 years, ruled with an iron fist, and ruined the lives of nearly every babyface on that roster. Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, Seth Rollins, drove Daniel Bryan out of the company. That added another layer to their animosity. Could Seth and Roman get back together? Absolutely. They will always be bonded as Shield brothers. But I do not see Seth and Punk getting together. At least not in the next 2 years. I genuinely don't think that. Like 2 years. Sammy says, Punk cried finally getting to main event. I don't blame him, man. I mean, that's a dream of a lot of people. He has been wrestling for, 25 years. Finally gets his main event of WrestleMania. It's difficult to not get a little bit emotional there, But I'm happy for him. I don't blame him one bit. And to have it against a guy like Roman and Seth Rollins, again, 3 of the top stars in the industry, come on. It's a great moment. And hopefully it'll be a great match. Another reason why I wanted to go live and give you guys a taste of the outside world here is because you can hear the neighbor revving up their engine for absolutely no reason. Another highlight of the week here. Absolutely no reason. Kent, so 2 ways, but not all together. Why can 2 of 3, but not all, but 2 years be slow play? It could be, and I think that feeds into your theory of, a slow build. Absolutely. I just mean as of right now, how it is, I don't see it happening. It would have to be a slow build, 100%. But altogether, why can 2 of 3, but not all? Like I said, I truthfully don't know how any other way I can explain it. Roman has his issues with Punk, but they can team up because of Heyman. Seth has his issues with Roman, but they're bonded by the Shield. Punk and Seth is the key. Those guys are not going to team up. They're not going to team up. Could they in the future? It's going to take a lot of healing. It really is. San Fran, can I get a cheeseburger with no cheese, please? Shout out to San Fran in the chat. Pretty sure we saw your cameo there, San Fran. I saw you. I noticed it. I wonder how John Cena will look at WrestleMania. Sammy, I'm thinking he's going to look the same. I don't think he's going to change the gear. He's going to have the jorts, a colorful t-shirt, and a hat with a little towel in hand. Because someone like that, John Cena, he even told us, he's not going to change the way he looks. The fans dress like him. Why is he going to change? I think he's going to look the same. I do want to know what his entrance is going to look like, though. What kind of entrance is he going to have? John Cena usually has some form of a special entrance at WrestleMania. So I'd like to see what he has in store. Sanford in the house, says Gabs. Acknowledgement. Shout out to Sanford there, who recently has been going back to his live streams. He had actually a live stream last night where we were playing WWE 2K on his channel, Sanfran5, and doing a little bit of a simulation of the WrestleMania card, as well as him trying to speed run Resident Evil. If you're interested in his content, please make sure to check out his channel. It is available on my channel. I do have a link at the bottom of my page. So if you're interested in seeing his content, please go ahead and think about subscribing and joining in on the lives. If Cena loses, we riot. What a sign, huh? He's a heel. It's going to be a hot crowd. I'm thinking it's going to be a great crowd. San Fran says, sup, y'all. Ken says he said as much because the fans don't push the narrative. I'm taking Cena. That's right. Cena's on top, man. This guy, he knows what he's doing. He's a professional, one of the greatest of all time. I don't want to give him up my pick. You guys want to know my pick on who wins between Cody and Cena? Check out the prediction video. Check it out. Please do. I'd love to hear your guys' intake and your opinion on my predictions. Please check out the prediction video, which is available now for all members of the Main Event Mafia, and it will be available for every subscriber tomorrow afternoon, Monday afternoon, 12 p.m. on the Mountain Standard Time. Don't forget, Punk came up with the Shield. That's right. It was originally going to be Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose, and Cassius Ohno, a.k.a. Chris Hero, but the higher-ups decided let's put Roman Reigns in that position instead of Chris Hero, but Punk did come up with that original idea for the Shield. If Cena wins, we get Ric Flair versus Cena. I hope not. I hope not. I'm so done with Ric Flair. A legend in the business, but Jesus, Rick, stop getting in the ring. He doesn't have anything else to prove. Plus, we already have one Flair, causing too much drama as it is. We don't need two. We really don't. Love Flair. Love what he's done for the business. But man, just sit back and enjoy the product. Please. For all of our sake. We don't want to see you break a hip. No one wants Charlotte anymore. It's tough. I had this discussion too with my folks over here. Charlotte is good. She's great. One of the best to do it. I just don't like the narrative. Maybe not the narrative. I don't like how over-pushed she can become. She seemingly is always in the title picture. Doesn't necessarily has to earn her spot. Yes, she won the Rumble. Absolutely. But I don't think she won at WrestleMania. Really don't. We haven't seen, and I'll give San Fran credit. He brought up the point that we haven't seen an evolution of Charlotte Flair. When it comes to the 4 horsewomen of NXT, we've seen Bayley evolve from the hugger to the role model. We've seen Becky Lynch from the last kicker all the way to the man. We've seen Sasha Banks turn into Mercedes Moné. We've seen evolutions of these women. Charlotte hasn't. She's been the same person she's been for the better part of a decade. And it's getting tiresome. It's really getting tiresome. Is she great? Give her credit. Absolutely. But Tiffany should go over. Ken says he has to prove his pacemaker work. Oh, his pacemaker. I'm thinking John Cena. He has to prove his pacemaker works. That. Oh my God. I hope not. Dude, I'm saying Ric Flair, just enjoy the show, Rick. Please, for all our sake. Sammy says that she's a Flair, bro. They're going to push her like they did Rick. I know. And she's going to get the record. She's going to get to... I mean, technically, if you count her NXT title reigns, she's already at 16-time champion. But it's that distinguishable fact whether or not NXT is seen as a developmental brand, therefore making it 14 title reigns versus 16. I know she's a Flair. They're going to push her. But Jesus, man, give her... Why can't she just have a mid-card feud every now and then? And by no means am I, like, saying that she's not good. She's good. But sometimes it's nice to have other people on top. Or at least that's my opinion. We're going to go live for about another 10 minutes here. Rounding out the 90-minute mark. Great conversation piece here by everybody. Talking about WrestleMania, the build. Talk about Charlotte. The triple threat match. Kent had brought up a lot of great theories here in regards to the finish of that match. We talked about Kevin Owens, AEW, Tony Khan, and their progression and storylines as well. Another successful live, in my opinion. Seeing you guys come out for this edition of a Sunday Wrestling Live. Says, don't see Lyra and Bayley as a team. They're a makeshift team. I would be very surprised personally if they win the tag titles. But I like the story that they're telling there between the two, especially given the picture that has been circulating the internet where Lyra Valkyria was a fan and did a meet and greet with Bayley maybe a decade ago, it seemed. And I like both of them. I think Lyra and Bayley are solid. How long after Cena breaks the record does it take Randy to break it? So Randy, as it stands, I believe is at 14. He needs 3 more title reigns. Does Randy even catch it? If Randy does catch it, he says he wants to keep going until he's 50. If Randy does catch it, I'm thinking 5 years. Because we're in a point right now where the title reigns aren't short. You know, they're lengthy. Cody's been the champion for a year. Before him, Roman was the champion for 4 years. Gunther's been the champion since August. So I don't see it flip-flopping as often. And that's if he breaks the record. Maybe Randy doesn't even get the record. Maybe he doesn't beat 16. Who will Paul Heyman pick? Roman or Punk? I'm inclined to pick Punk. I'm inclined to pick Punk, but I would not be surprised if Seth was involved. It's either Malachi Black or Nick or Rusev for Randy. All solid picks, but I think it's going to be Solo. I think Solo Sikoa is going to be the guy. Because it'd just be easier. If you put Rusev or Malachi Black in that position, them taking a loss in their first match back, not a good look. And then for Nick Aldis is a possibility, but I'm going to go Solo. I'm going to go Solo as my prediction. And he beats Solo, I think. Punk over the Tribal Chief. Damn. You know, it's just because of that devotion, his best friend, you know, with CM Punk. We have seen in the past Roman Reigns kind of verbally berate Paul Heyman. There was that short stint in 2022 where Paul and Roman were separated and Lesnar was involved. And I think all good things must come to an end. His partnership with Roman Reigns has lasted almost 5 years. I could see him aligning with Punk. I could. Maybe I'm wrong. And like I said, I'm not afraid to be wrong. But as I said, as someone that's watched the same product for nearly 25 years, I'd like to think I have a decent understanding of where they kind of go with it. Maybe they throw a curveball, right? And I always welcome a curveball because it keeps it interesting. Keeps it interesting. But again, Malachi Black and Rusev, it's going to be interesting to see where they line up on the card. I think Malachi Black, it's fairly obvious he's going to be on SmackDown. They've been airing those vignettes. Rusev, you know, he could be on Raw, maybe. I don't know where they're going to put him. Do you think Roman Lupus flares up again? Oh. No, I hope not. Who do you have losing their title? Ooh, okay. That's a tough one. I'll give you a couple. And again, if you want more of an in-depth reasoning and analysis, check out the prediction video that I have on YouTube. I think Gunther loses his title. I think Braun Breaker loses his title. I'm not going to tell you who wins because you got to check out that video. I think Braun Breaker loses the title. And I think Jacob Fatu beats LA Knight. And LA Knight loses the title as well. I think we're going to see a good chunk of champions change hands at WrestleMania. And then we're going to get a lot of fresh faces with championship gold. I love the title throwback on SmackDown. Yeah, I agree with you, Sammy. It was nice seeing all the, the past generations of championships for the WWE title. It was a great blast from the past. I love stuff like that. Do you see Black versus Rusev in a match? And they pushed the loser? No. I mean, okay, yes, down the road. I don't see them having Rusev versus Black in the first 6 months of them returning. Especially because I think Rusev's going to be on Raw and Black will be on SmackDown. I do think they have a match down the road, but not soon. Do they push the loser? I would hope so. But again, I don't run the company, right? I would hope so. But again, I don't think they face off for the first 6 months, maybe down the road. Just because you want to protect these guys, you want to make sure that they have a decent run and storylines that help keep them at the top of the card. And that's one thing I fear for people like Malachi Black and Rusev, Phoenix, Penta. I don't want them to get lost in the shuffle. And on top of that, we're probably going to get a couple of NXT call-ups, as per usual, through the draft or post-WrestleMania. I don't want to get them lost in the shuffle. But it's bound to happen. Look at Andrade and Mello. Those guys got lost in the shuffle. Nakamura. All three guys are solid talent, and they eventually got lost in the shuffle. Can't believe WrestleMania is next week. I can. And I'll tell you why. Because it's already going to be mid-April, and it's the latest we've ever had WrestleMania. You know, technically WrestleMania should have already passed, being the first weekend of the month of April, or the last month of or the last weekend of March. Man, I'm looking forward to it. This next week is exciting. Monday Night Raw, NXT, AEW, TNA, SmackDown, the Hall of Fame. Man, do I see Rey Fenix joining Legado del Fantasma? No, I don't. That's just opening the matchup between Rey and Santos Escobar. I don't see him teaming up with them. There's no need for it. I do think his next matchup will probably be against Angel Garza, and that'll set up Santos versus Phoenix. I don't see him joining them. I don't. Maybe he teams up with Andrade. Andrade and Phoenix versus Legado del Fantasma. I don't see him joining. Tijuana Tacos, what's going on, buddy? Appreciate you, man. How you doing? Hopefully you're doing well. Glad to see you, my friend. There's a rumor that they want Penta part of the Judgment Day, but then again, the team is going to disband. I'm hoping they do. I'm a fan of everybody in the Judgment Day. Love Finn, Dom, Liv, Carlito, JD. Love them all. Raquel. But that team, it's ran its course. I think it's time to break that group up. It's done. They don't need to keep it going. Plus, I want to see Finn as a single star. Dominic branch away and become his own thing. He can still be with Liv and Raquel, but have him break away. I think it'll be like Finn and JD leave. Keep Raquel and Liv and Dom together, and Carlito. I mean, whatever happened to him. Shout out to Rio. I see you. How you doing? Penta turned him down. He did. And that's leading into the Fatal 4-Way at WrestleMania. Hopefully a great Fatal 4-Way. I mean, Braun, Penta, Dom, and Finn. Talent off the charts. So much talent in one match. Carlito died from that spear. Dude, what a spear, right? Whoa. And the way that Braun Breaker rotated into that spear, it's a thing of beauty. A thing of beauty, I tell you. Any word on who is Randy going against Mania? Hasn't been officially released. For me personally, I think it's down to two. Nick Aldis and Solo Sikoa. I'm more inclined to believe Solo Sikoa. Would not be shocked if it was Nick. But I'm thinking Solo. Solo's my pick in terms of who he'll be facing. Just because it's an easier win, I think, for Randy. I don't see it being... Yeah, I think it is Solo. Sorry, Tijuana. Because I can't see him beating Rusev or Malachi Black in their first match. That's just going to hurt them, I think. And then it could be Nick Aldis, but he'd have to give up his spot as a GM. Solo's the easy win. Solo's the easy win. And it makes sense to me because of the tag team match that had just taken place. LA Knight has this thing with Jacob, and Solo's free, Randy's free. Either that or Randy just doesn't have a match, and I don't think they're gonna do that. Which was more devastating, that one or the one he gave at the Rumble? Probably the Rumble. Probably the Rumble, because IShow's Speed isn't an athlete, like, or at least he's not a pro wrestler. That one looked like it. I genuinely thought IShow's Speed was concussed. I thought he was genuinely concussed. I would go with the Rumble one. Randy should help Cody. He could. What's going on, Sean? He definitely could. I'm not opposed to that. We're going to start wrapping up here on the live, guys. I want to thank you guys, of course, for joining me on another Sunday live stream here at the J Area Wrestling Show. Something different in terms of the live stream. We got a little bit of a scenery, kind of a little bit of a different feel for the live stream. Hopefully we're able to integrate more things like this and get you guys kind of around, that way we're not always stuck in the HQ of J Area right at my desk. So it was cool. A great conversation here by everybody who participated. Major thanks to everybody who took part in the live, as well as the great questions, the great comments, and the great conversations that were had on the live. Make sure you check out tomorrow's video, the predictions for WrestleMania 41, where I give out my analysis and my take on every WrestleMania matchup, as well as be here for Thursday's live stream. Check out the post in the community tab. We're going to be doing an ultimate WrestleMania quiz, an interactive quiz for all the members of the J Area. It'll be on Kahoot. Download the Kahoot app. I have the picture and the app in the post as well to show you. It's the app Kahoot, Kahoot. You can able to create an account or sign in, and on the live stream we're going to have a code display for you to sign in and take part in that quiz. It'll be the ultimate WrestleMania quiz, giving you guys an opportunity to have a little bit of fun and interactive participation here on the live stream. Next time you'll see me will be on Thursday's live. Again, that'll be Thursday, this upcoming April 17th. We'll be doing the ultimate WrestleMania quiz. Check it out. Hope to see you there. With that being said, thank you guys for joining me on today's live stream. We'll see you for the WrestleMania predictions video on Monday afternoon, and then of course that Thursday live stream. Much appreciation, much thanks for this one. Couldn't do it without you guys. Everyone, have a great Sunday evening. Have a great WrestleMania week. Be safe out there. Be cool. We'll see you in the next one. Hold on, last check-in here, Kent. Just to answer Kent, it's going to be 7 to 8 o'clock Mountain Standard Time. 7 to 8 o'clock Mountain Standard Time. You'll see the link on the channel. You caught me right at the last second there. Take a look in the community tab as well as the channel. It'll show you the link. All right, guys, everyone take